you want to start? What you got?
Let's start in the AL, and let's start with an overall view. Top teams, independent of their divisions.
Wow, so quickly we're circle back to the Orioles already. Jesus Christ.
Well, they're not number one.
Your second place Orioles.
I know. It's rough.
Who I think might be in some trouble, because I'm kind of glad you brought this up, because I was just reading about how All Rise for the Judge is he's smoking it right now, dude, and between him and Soto are like single-handedly like propelling the Yankees forward, and I mean they're getting some good pitching performances too, of course, but
I mean, I guess the retort to that is that
I just can't stand to watch Nestor pitch, off timing, rocking back and forth.
You like watching Ranger pitch?
He's a little better, but he at least just comes at you. He just rocks and throws, but
okay, so here are the top 5 teams in the American League. At number 5, we have the Minnesota Twins.
Right.
They are in 3rd place in the Central, however. Number 4, we have the Kansas City Royals. They are in 2nd place. The Twins are 6 behind the Indians. The Royals 3 behind the Indians. The third,
I think that's going to be the most interesting thing going into the playoffs, is watching that AL wild card.
So the Mariners lead the West at 31-27. That is the 6th best winning percentage in the American League. However,
did they beat the Astros today?
The West is significantly worse than the Central and the East. I do not know if they beat the Astros today. The Astros are sitting at 25-32. Have not made that big rebound yet. We're about a third of the way through the season. The Rangers are 3 back from the Mariners. So the West is the forgotten division in the AL at the moment. The Central and East are hot. So again, we have Twins, 5th best team. Royals, 4th best team in the AL with a .603 winning percentage. The 3rd best team in the AL at the moment, Baltimore Orioles. Ouch.
Wow.
Number 3. We're number 3. We have a .648 winning percentage, 35-19. We are tied for the league lead in fewest losses. Orioles, again, are the 3rd best team in the American League. The Indians, now the 2nd best team, doing better than the Orioles at a .661 winning percentage, 37-19. They have the Orioles by 2 in the win column. And then the Yankees have the Orioles by 3 in the win column. They are 38-19. Just barely better than the Indians. Indians not getting near the press that the Yankees are, playing just as well. They've won 8 out of their last 10.
Excuse me, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, the preferred nomenclature is Guardian.
Do I keep this? Have I said Indians?
You said Indians. You said Indians like 4 times.
It's fine. That's how the AL looks. Rangers are going to have a shot. I mean, Rangers, Astros technically going to have a shot at the West as the season goes on if Seattle falters a bit, or Seattle could just run away with that thing. I think we all knew and even mentioned on the pod earlier that it was going to be a Mariners-Rangers battle.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Rangers, I mean, what, they've got like 4 starting pitchers that are on the IL for long periods of time, yeah, and so, like, they're doing the best they can with what they got. So, I mean, that team's packed. I mean, you know, they're defending champs, so, I mean, they're packed with talent, but just nobody's healthy right now. I think Scherzer, I mean, I don't know, you go all down that whole laundry list of guys that they've got. DeGrom's out for the year now.
Yeah.
So it's just, that's the big thing. You know, you invest all this money in these arms, and then, of course, these guys are also, like, you know, pushing 40.
So let's see. Mariners still would get that 3 seed. So this would be the playoff seedings if they happen today in the AL. We'd have the Twins at Seattle, Royals at Baltimore. That'd be the 5 at 4. And then Cleveland and New York would have the byes. Whew, I do not love a first-round Royals playoff for the Orioles.
You know what? I don't know. Like, I mean, there's different schools of thought on that, because, like, especially when, like, September rolls around and the first October as the season's winding down, you know, when you're playing to get in, like, you're already in playoff mode.
Yeah,
it's win or go home. You're like, you know, and so, like, it puts you in a different mindset. It makes you play better baseball. And so, like, sometimes when you're, you know, and this has happened to the Dodgers multiple times where, you know, they'll win 106 games, and the last 2 weeks don't mean shit. So
sure.
you bring up some young kids, you get them a look at the show, you move some people around, you try this, you try that. You don't want to show too much, and then you roll into the playoffs and you're kind of flat.
Yeah.
And so,
speaking of flat, the Orioles did not win a game in a series for the first time in, I believe, 106 series. They were going for the all-time record. They stand the second longest streak of all time. I want to say they went 106 in a row. The record was 124, so they were quite a ways off. But Very wonky series in St. Louis. Multiple rainouts, picked up the next day. It was, I hated it. They did bounce back by sweeping the White Sox, which most people do. And then they won the series against the Red Sox.
I mean, I think you got to give the Cardinals a little bit of credit. I mean, they've really
really
righted the ship. I mean, they're back to 500 baseball right now, and so.
Well, let's talk about the NL Central. The Cardinals are 5 back from the Brewers. The Brewers are the 3rd best team in the National League, ahead of the Braves at the moment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, losing Acuna and then Strider. I mean, if they lose somebody else, they're in trouble. But
Chris Sale's stepping up.
Chris Sale's paying off, and then I don't know. I mean, this isn't the first time Acuna's blown on his knee, so I mean, they know how to cope. They'll figure something out. I mean, there's enough talent in that roster for somebody to step up.
So last I checked a couple days ago, there were only 4 teams in the National League that were above 500. We are still. Oh no, the Giants and Padres now both a game over 500.
Oh, okay.
Your West is surging a little bit. Giants showing some life.
Yeah, they do that. Same with the Padres. I mean, they're not too much of a threat. I mean, if the Dodgers play like they did against Cincinnati last weekend, then yeah, they're coming for us. But
how are you worried at all? Let's see, the Dodgers are 6.5 up on the Giants and Padres.
That was a road sweep. That was in Cincinnati. I don't know. I mean, road games are tough. I don't care what road series are tough. Road trips are tough. If you're gonna falter, like if it had been a home sweep, then yeah, something's up. But
I guess I meant more so about the Giants and Padres.
No. Unfortunately, like as much bluff and gusto they put out there, they just don't have the strength to overtake us. They couldn't. And even if they did, the next series against the Dodgers is gonna bring them back to reality. So,
well, we all know that the Braves are hurting, like you mentioned. Acuna with the torn ACL.
Which also, I watched that play too. What the fuck was he doing? Like, I know he was. I don't know if he was trying to like get a throw or just he was doing some weird deke. Like he was on second base and he does like this weird like I'm going to third. No, I'm throwing on the brakes and then I twist and then I pop. And it's like,
I mean, it's one of those things that you don't notice it if he doesn't get injured on the play.
I guess so. I mean, yeah, it definitely does get shared if he doesn't get hurt. But at the same time, like, I don't know. What are you doing? What are you doing, bro? You need to talk?
Phillies are firmly atop the NL. They have been for quite some time now. Dodgers still locking down that number 2 spot with a 621 winning percentage. Phillies at 684. Where does that stand in Major League Baseball? They do have the best winning percentage in baseball. Yankees at 2.
They're playing well. They're hitting on all cylinders. I mean, Ranger Suarez showing everybody how it's done.
We'll talk a little bit more about Ranger later. I think from looking at this, my big story here is that the Guardians are the 4th best team in baseball as we stand with a 661 winning percentage. We have. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. I stand corrected. We have the Phillies at 1.
Right.
We have the Yankees at 2. The Guardians are the 3rd best team in baseball as of today, as of this moment.
Good for them.
Good stuff.
Hey, I'm curious. Do they have a trophy for best team at the end of May? No? Oh, okay.
Dodgers at a 621 winning percentage. That puts my Orioles at the 4th best team in baseball. And the Dodgers coming in at number 5.
Yeah.
Better luck next year, Cam.
Yeah. We'll see you next June 1st.
Wow, we're crushing you in winning percentage right now. Full 27 points.
I'm sure that won't swing over the weekend.
And you won 3 in a row, so it was worse.
God damn the Mets. I feel bad for that. I feel bad for that squad. They are falling apart.
So who's the guy?
Lopez?
A former Oriole.
Oh, would he play for the Orioles too?
Yeah, well, the word is
he's
let's get him back.
Oh, he's quite the journey. Well, then if you want to go, I guess he can pitch. I don't know.
He has like a 2.80 ERA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. He just had a meltdown against the Dodgers, and he got thrown out. He threw his glove in the stands. He tore his shirt tails out as he was walking off the field. He got ejected by the third base umpire too. Like it wasn't even like home plate umpire for arguing balls and strikes. So he got into it with this guy.
Well, he argued a check swing, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, man, clubhouse culture, man.
Well, then I don't know. Like he claims he was mistranslated. He tried, because it was originally posted that he said that the Mets were the worst fucking team in the MLB. Right. And that's the worst fucking team. And he was like, no, that's not what I said at all. He said, I'm the worst teammate. Which I don't know.
Either way, whether he's trying to backtrack or not, you can't discredit that because he totally could have said that.
I don't know. I mean,
you got to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I don't know.
That he said teammate.
Possibly.
It's more likely that he would be pissed off at himself, I think.
Possibly, but also, you're in a frustrating situation where you're just getting shelled every night just because.
Look, as the body language doctor over here, I'm just saying, when he was speaking, that was more of a, I'm an idiot.
Oh, really?
And if you're mad at the team, there's a little more, I think, visual rage. You can see if you're kind of mad at everything around you.
You can see he was a little apologetic.
He was just like, I'm the worst. We've all said that, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In the mirror every morning.
I'm the fucking worst.
In the mirror every morning. That's my mantra.
All right, now the podcast can get started.
Oh, okay. But that was a bit crazy, and then the Acuna getting hurt.
There are more big headlines. Let's just wrap up the NL wild card situation as it stands. We would have 3 West teams as of today. We'd have the Padres at Milwaukee. We'd have the Giants at the Braves. Didn't expect to say that 2 weeks ago.
Cubs aren't in there? How far off are the
Cubs? Are only a game out of the last wild card spot. Cardinals are a half game out. Yeah, it's going to be... I mean, wild card, as wild card races should. It's going to be knock them out to the end.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've got a ways to go. We still got 3 months left, but...
So, 6-seed Padres at 3-seed Brewers, 5-seed Giants at 4-seed Braves, and then the Dodgers at the 2-seed and Phillies at the 1.
Well, luckily we don't have to worry about the Phillies because they employ a certain first baseman that
I'm just going to cut you off before you say anything bad about Bryce Harper.
Oh, you said his name. Fuck Bryce Harper.
Welcome to the Ahlswede Collection Podcast Network. I am your editor-in-chief, your founder, your producer for every episode, Derek Ahlswede. Go ahead and follow us on all our platforms. We're on Facebook and Twitter at Ahlswede Collect. That's AHLSWEDE Collect. Instagram, Threads, what else? Medium.com. Those are at Ahlswede Collection. We appreciate the follow. We appreciate the listen. We're over on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple. Back to the show. This is one of the biggest headlines in the history of Major League Baseball. The Negro Leagues have been implemented into the major leagues when it comes to all-time records and statistics. They are all in the same group. This is monumental.
I think that is fucking fantastic. I also want to know how does that upset the apple cart? Like, who does that knock out of certain spots?
Well, I have it right here, my friend.
Oh, well.
I was very nervous about where you were going to go when you said, I think that is. So I was very relieved that you said fantastic.
Wow,
didn't know where that was going.
I wish I would have held on to it a little longer.
You got a little MAGA in you.
The suspense. A little MAGA in me.
Just kidding.
Just the rage.
I just have
the rage.
You're a good comrade.
Unfortunately,
you're a good Democratic comrade.
I'm a good pinko-commie swine, as my mother would describe me.
You understand the problems with laissez-faire capitalism.
Yes.
Just like me. Yes. Okay. That a kid. Good comrade. Here's what we're looking at now. And this is fascinating. Let's talk about this as long as we want.
Well, because who we got? Who we talking about though? Because you got Satchel Paige, Josh Gibson.
Well, can I start?
Well, I know, but
okay,
you got to throw some of those big names out there of who's going to impact.
Oh well, you said. Josh Gibson. This changes everything. Career batting average leaders. Now we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're gonna go top 10. Okay.
Okay.
Now number 10, Ted Williams, 344.
Wow.
Number 9, Tris Speaker, 345. Number 8, new addition, Buck Leonard, also at 345.
Wait, was Buck Leonard? Was he the one that was in the? No, who?
I don't know. Oh, the character in Field of Dreams.
No, on Ken Burns. On Ken Burns' baseball. Who's that? Which
know.
Buck? I can't think of his last name. I just remember that old man just telling stories and just the smile on his face, and his name was Buck something.
Well,
but I
good
can't think
plug
of it.
for Ken Burns baseball.
Yeah,
I need to watch that. Number 7, Ed Delahanty. This is a guy that was in the majors. I don't know how I've never heard of this man. He hit 346 career.
Wait, what's the parameters on that though? I mean, was it for one season? Was it?
No, this is career batting average.
I know, but what's the minimum? What's the minimum bats?
I don't have the minimums here, but it's career.
It's clearly enough to beat Ted Williams.
It's got to be, yeah.
All right.
So now Ed Delahanty is at number 10987. Number 6 and number 5, 2 Negro League players. At number 6, we have Turkey Stearns with a 348 career average. Oh, I'm peeking a little bit here. At number 5, we have Judd Wilson with a 350 career average. Back to our old majors players. This guy used to be number 2 all time. Do you know who he is?
Tony Gwynn?
Nope. Gwynn not on the list. I think Gwynn was around like 339. He was just missed out. Number 2, former number 2. He now sits at number 4. Initials are RH. Oh, I'm disappointed in you, Kim. Rogers Hornsby with a 358 career average. A new number 3 hitting 363 career, Oscar Charleston.
Okay.
And now our new number 2, dethroned from the top spot. One of the worst personalities in the history of baseball. Tommy Lee Jones does a great job playing him on the silver screen.
Yeah, play for the Tigers.
But you don't... okay, this is the most embarrassing thing. You don't know Ty Cobb?
Ty Cobb, sorry.
Wow, the fact that it wasn't...
Why, because it slipped my mind for a moment?
Ty Cobb with a 367 career average, and now arguably the greatest baseball player to ever play the game, historically...
Ichiro Suzuki.
Josh Gibson with a 372 career average. Let's move along. I have 4 other lists here. Well, we don't necessarily need to get to all of them. Career on base percentage, Ted Williams and Babe Ruth still 1 and 2. Gibson in at 3 there.
Okay.
Buck Leonard and Oscar Charleston come in at 5 and 6, and Judd Wilson at 10. Barry Bonds is the only modern player on that list at 8 for career on base percentage with a 444. I do kind of want to talk about the steroid players in conjunction with this too, because some people are. Career slugging. Ooh. Beating Babe Ruth by a solid 28 points. Josh Gibson is now the career slugging leader, 718 career slugging percentage. Babe Ruth, 690. We have Mule Suttles, Turkey Stearns, and Oscar Charleston at 5, 6, and 7, the new additions from the Negro Leagues. Jimmy Fox, Barry Bonds, and Hank Greenberg close out the career slugging leaders. Career OPS, again, bye-bye Babe. Josh Gibson now the career OPS leader, 1177. God damn, that is insane. Babe Ruth, 1164. And really the same names we have, Charleston, Buck Leonard, Turkey Stearns, and Mule Suttles. So these are the big all-time Negro League names that are atop the offensive leaderboards now.
Just to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
The one thing that I think should be mentioned and something that should be stated is that I don't think the Negro Leagues, unfortunately, I mean, it's the same argument you can make with Ichiro being the all-time hits leader. He should have broken Pete Rose's record if you count his Japanese hits. In the Japanese list.
Does this open that can of worms?
It does because were they playing against lesser competition? Well,
one's American, one isn't. I think that's the
that's part of it. That's part of it, but it's also a level of competition. And I'm not saying that the Negro Leagues weren't as good as the major leagues.
I have
but we'll never know. But we'll never know.
I think that is kind of the at least the question that pops in people's mind. Like, was the league of a lesser quality?
Well, it's such an apples. It's it's not an apples to apples comparison. And so, unfortunately, I don't know enough about the Negro Leagues, and that's probably my fault for being ignorant on that. But how deep were these teams? Josh Gibson mashing that is clearly he was clearly a talent and a superstar. But how often is he facing Shaky Williams from Alabama every third?
Be careful.
No, I'm just saying. There was so many fantastic names for some of these players. Like I just feel like they all had nicknames.
Yeah, for sure.
But his name was Shaky because he never quite got a good start off, and he was able to go 4 for 4 and really mash this guy that one night, and that you see him once a month. That's really gonna help your average.
I think that it's kind of the natural question that a lot of people are going to ask, but I think it's wrong to ask it. I think that the talent. I mean, if we just use our kind of common sense, we know damn well that the talent was incredible in that league. Like, what are we talking about? Right. I mean, every player that would come from there is still going to be one of the best players in the MLB. I mean, what more do we need to gauge?
But it does open up that can of worms about including Japanese and KBO.
No, because those are in different countries.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm glad you brought that up. But
I mean, well then, yeah. I mean, that being said, then yeah, should you be able to carry over, your Mexican League stats or your winter ball in Venezuela?
I think it's awesome. It's bold. It's one of those kind of modern things, especially in the sports world, like sports going woke. And there's going to be this group, traditionally of conservative, leaning toward more racist white male tropes that are going to hate it. But that's one of the comebacks or some analysis I heard about as a comeback to what you just said was that, and you might even have a problem with this, is that it's racist to question whether the Negro Leagues had as good of competition or talent.
I'm just asked the questions because
right, as you should be able to. And
because.
But you will at the worst case that's a racist thought.
But I also think if you want to say that the Negro Leagues was deficit to the Major Leagues, the Major League was also deficit because they didn't have the Josh Gibsons, they didn't have Turkey Saunders.
That shows some fucking respect. Put some respect on Turkey's name. Okay?
All right. Well, Turkey just made the record books, man. He's in the top 10 in a lot of categories. They're currently melting the bronze for his plaque in Cooperstown.
Last thing I want to talk about on this, unless you have something else, is just how it changes Babe Ruth's legacy. I mean, he is kind of not stereotypically, but he is known as the kind of one of the greatest of all time athletes in American history.
Right.
Even though I don't know if that matches up just in terms of pure physicality.
I think enough is known about his lifestyle that he was smoking cigarettes and eating hot dogs and drinking coffee in the dugout with everybody else.
It's like we put Babe Ruth in the same conversation.
Because he was
Ali and Jordan.
He changed the game. The game. He brought power hitting into Major League Baseball. So I mean, he was a revolutionary and should always be remembered as such.
Sure. Revolutionary.
He was. Because before it was choking up and hit them where they ain't, and not just swing from your heels and hit it as far as you can. That changed the game.
And now Josh Gibson is technically a better player. Babe Ruth is the 2 to Josh Gibson's 1.
Statistically,
yeah.
I think it's unfortunate.
That's what
I think it's unfortunate that they couldn't have been contemporaries. I don't know when was Josh Gibson active?
What years did he play?
Yeah,
Gibson was 30 to 46.
Okay, so a little later. So he's more of a contemporary of maybe a DiMaggio.
It's Babe Ruth era. Let's see Babe Ruth years played.
I'm saying 21 to 35.
14 to 35.
14 to 35. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so it's a little bit of a different era. Maybe I think those.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I would think that Gibson exists because of Ruth, and just did a little bit better.
Yeah.
I think that could be argued because, like I said, that's the way Ruth changed the game. That was why he was so popular and so immense, is because he could hit the baseball longer and farther than anybody else.
Dude, he died at 35 years old, Josh Gibson, in 1947. So.
Oh, I think I knew that.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah, he was struck down.
He was only 35.
Yeah, so who knows?
Oh, well, dude, he's only 35. I mean, he could have.
He's got kind of a little Buddy Holly.
He had 5 more years in him.
How did he die?
Let's see. Wow. So Gibson died just 3 months before the league's color barrier was broken, so he would have been Jackie Robinson, most likely. He would have been the guy.
Possibly.
The first guy.
One or two, yeah.
Gibson died as the result of a stroke on January 20th, 1947, about a month after his 35th birthday, and about 3 months before Jackie Robinson broke baseball's color barrier.
Well, that's tragic. Sounds like natural causes.
Wow.
So. Well, hopefully, I hope there's a Josh Gibson movie in the works.
I agree. That's a good call. That's a very good call.
Spike Lee, where you at?
Why's it got to be Spike?
Spike does those movies.
No, actually, Denzel Washington has a kind of famous quote about that. About, I want to say, someone else was set to direct X, and Spike kind of came in after the fact. And there is something to that. Like Scorsese directs Goodfellas because he knows the culture. Spike Lee directs
No.
It's I know
what you're talking about. I know the conversation is they asked Denzel about. I think it was for Picket Fences. Believe it or not.
Fences. I think it's just called Fences.
No, it's called Fences. Anyways, but yeah, no. Why Scorsese can do Goodfellas or why Spielberg can do is because it's about culture.
Oh, Spielberg and Schindler's List.
Spielberg doing Schindler's List. Scorsese doing Goodfellas. Yeah, they could have flip-flopped and done a great job on both of those pictures. They're visionary directors, but they understand the culture. And so with any kind of black story, it should be told by someone who experiences that culture.
There are other black directors in Hollywood, so it doesn't have to be Spike, but I highly agree. A Josh Gibson movie would be awesome.
Would be dope.
That said, Hollywood.
Unfortunately, now we know how it ends, though, so that's the only spoiler.
Well. Fast forward to 2024, happy ending.
Okay.
Any parting words for our boy Angel, our angel behind the plate, who announced his retirement?
Oh, thank God.
Anything you want to say to him?
Angel Hernandez. Hit the fucking bricks, you fucking piece of shit. Angel Hernandez, worst umpire probably of all time.
Are we too hard on umpires?
No.
Okay.
No. Unfortunately, they have the hardest job in the world.
Well, slow down.
It's moving pretty fast. Have you ever seen a 95-mile-an-hour fastball that ain't moving straight? You're guessing too.
For sure.
You're guessing too. But he has gone above and beyond to prove how much of an asshole.
Sure. It was his ego that was almost more
the fact that he sued Major League Baseball for discrimination.
Excuse me, what?
He sued Major League Baseball for discrimination.
And kept his job?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he wasn't getting postseason assignments. You get postseason assignments. What? Yeah, you get postseason assignments because every official is graded at the end of the day. So they are held to a very high standard. There's somebody who is going back and seeing how many balls they missed, how many strikes they missed, and they are graded on that. And that's how they keep their jobs. Unfortunately, they have a very strong union. Yeah. But anyhow, so he wasn't getting postseason jobs because he sucks fucking monkey nuts, and then sued because he was Hispanic.
Wow.
That was the reason why.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I am 1,000% sure on that. He sued Major League Baseball through his union and put a grievance in through the union, saying that the reason he was not getting these postseason assignments, which I'm sure is extra money in their pocket too, it's primetime games, it was because he was Latino and not because he just sucks at his job.
Well, I'm not going to fact check that. I trust you that happened. That's insane. I think that this has been particularly contentious year for umpires, criticizing umpires, fans criticizing umpires. And my theory is that we are becoming so specific in our technical abilities technologically. I kind of double down on the word technical there, but that we really don't have the space or the temperament for these little errors anymore. And I think that AH leaving represents AI coming in.
Okay. I think you just want to do that because you want to do a little alliteration. But no, also, this is another problem I have with just Major League umpires in general is they are very thin-skinned.
Yeah, ego's tough with them.
Yeah, and I think that's a big problem. I I don't like them. They will run somebody if you look at them cross-eyed, or if they have beef with somebody. Like, and you can tell too. Like, and there's even a history of it. Of, you know, this umpire doesn't like so and so player, and as soon as he starts giving him the business, he just runs them, or he runs. You know, I mean, I love Aaron Boone from the Yankees, the manager for the Yankees, simply for the fact that he gets rung up all the time, just because he's holding them accountable, and that's part of the give and take. That should be part of the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like hockey fights. They're there to regulate behavior, because if NHL takes away takes away the fighting, oh my God, will everyone just melt down? You need that.
Then I still won't watch any hockey.
Speak for yourself, my friend.
Okay.
Edmonton wins it all. Okay. But they need. I think there should be a little bit more back and forth. You should be able to draw from the top step.
And
I mean,
and
to happens. A certain point, and be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" It's accountability. It's. I think that's the one thing a manager should be able to do, and I think an umpire should accept and be able to draw back and be like, "Hey, it missed." Whatever, but not as soon as you argue one balls and strike, which I know you're not supposed to be allowed to argue balls and strikes, but they ring the bell so quickly anymore that it's ridiculous.
And it does feel like announcers, for some reason this year, have no muzzle. Like, announcers are going crazy on umps this year. I don't know if something changed.
I think it's because I think it's because they're the only ones that can get away with it.
They didn't used to. I don't know if it was just an unwritten rule for decorum to not do that, but everyone's doesn't care anymore. They're just
because I think it's that same thing is that managers don't have that leeway. You know, bench coaches, you should be able to shout at the dugout. You know, should be able to shout out of the dugout without just getting rung. I mean, how Booney got thrown out because somebody in the stands said something.
Well, and then even more recently, which this happened in at the end of an Orioles game, that Orioles White Sox, I believe, where there was
that was a bullshit call.
Right. So it happened again with the Yankees, whoever the Yankees were playing recently. Same thing. Soto got called for interference on an infield fly. So that's happened twice in the last couple of weeks. We've never seen it before.
Yeah, it's just I don't know.
So Boone got rung up because that was called. Bryce Harper. Just kind of on this note, Harper got tossed in like the top of the first recently over kind of a really questionable call. Which I
bet it was something stemming over from the night before.
Maybe, yeah, or just way not just
or the last time that crew was in town.
And when I say I want AI to call balls and strikes, I want it just for balls and strikes. You still have a home plate umpire there for a variety of reasons, for game management, so he can talk to players and coaches. Like, there's not nobody there.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like baseball is the only sport. Like, I mean, basketball, the coach's jaw with the referees. Football, you're definitely jawing with the referees. I mean, that's half the head coach's job, is just to get into somebody's ear and be like, this guy's holding this. You know, you're pointing things out of stuff that they're missing. They're not getting flags thrown at them and getting thrown out of the games. Be like, hey, you missed this call.
But just imagine how much it changes if now balls and strikes are AI, so there are zero mistakes. Like, what is there to complain about?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I mean, there will obviously other reasons will come up.
That definitely takes the.
Well, then it comes down to like.
It definitely takes out your argument. So I mean.
But then it's really more like behavioral. Like, did this player say something shitty to the other team, and now they're fighting, and that's where it kind of sits in. They're almost like a mediator, like a boxing ref.
That's where they should be. Like, you know, like I said with the NBA and the NFL. Like, yeah, you started jawing at the other team. Yeah, they're gonna throw a personal foul. If a coach is jawing at you from the sideline, they'll give you a couple of warnings. Be like, hey. You know, until you take it too far.
What if it shifts in from it's traditional for players to focus all their anger toward the ref. Now, if there's AI back there, the teams can the coaches are yelling at each other from across the dugout, or the players are. Well, that's more like hockey.
No. See, you're talking Mad Max, dude. That's.
I like it better.
That's post-apocalyptic baseball, and we're not playing that. Because what now the umpires are babysitters, they got to separate.
Well, you don't call them a babysitter, but they're there.
I mean, that's essentially they're refereeing.
Well, do athletes not act like babies when they yell and get mad? Yeah, they do.
Oh yeah,
coaches, yeah, big babies back there. All right, let's take our last break. We're gonna get back to some incredible hot links, juicy hot links. Thanks for listening to the AC Sports Podcast, available on Spotify and Amazon Music exclusively. We have other podcasts in production at the Ahlswede Collection Podcast Network. Self-Pour, which is an interview show. We get deep down and personal with some of the most interesting people in Northern California. We have Talking Black Art, which I host with Corey Hunt. Phenomenal insight into white and black cultures in America through the lens of black art. Also, we have Living Directors. Back to the show. All right, welcome back to the AC Sports Podcast. Cam gave me a bunch of shit when we did the hot links last week because some of the videos I went over weren't for the audio medium.
Yeah.
No.
Shocker.
Really holds me to a high standard over here.
Well, yeah. Well, 'cause my name's on this thing too. I get phone calls.
So we are going to go over some hot links, rapid fire. Cam does not know what I'm about to throw at him. And before he chimes in,
I'm engorging.
We want to start, like we will every week with hot links from now on.
Oh.
A word from Paul Skeens.
Well, all hail Paul Skeens.
Now they have a sample size at AAA and now at this level as well. How do you think you're looking forward to that challenge of the way hitters might be adjusting to you and having that chess match throughout the game?
I mean, go ahead and adjust. Good luck.
The balls on Paul.
Oh.
We love the balls on Paul.
Yeah, don't check his glove. Check his balls.
Next, no video required for this one. I did see a couple TikToks this week, though, that had to do with the base path rule, and it got me thinking, what is the base path rule? Because I saw some wonky stuff that you can do. There was also a Major League play where Bellinger kind of went around the guy and was called out. So what say you, Ken?
There's an old trick play, like say that they're not holding you on. Say you got to run on first and they're not holding you on. Make that runner go and back up and stand next to the first baseman, and almost even go into right field.
Yeah, that's what I saw, and I was like, "What is this? I've never seen this before."
And so as long as you establish it's a straight line and with 3 feet to either side, or was it like 2 feet to either side? I think, or maybe 6 feet total. I don't know. But within that line, as long as you take a direct baseline from that wherever you start. So if you start back a little deep, so say you're at first base. If you want to back up 6 feet, it's from that point to second base.
That's crazy.
That is the base. That is your baseline. It is not a 90-degree turn at first base. It's up to interpretation, and you can fuck with it. Like I said, there's some trick plays where, you almost go out into right field. You go out into right field, and you make them throw the ball out there to get that runner from third in.
Right.
It's one of those screwy trick, old.
So let's just say you ignore that runner. He's out in shallow right field. You just make your pitch.
Then that's what you got to do. Then he could essentially steal second if he wanted.
He's still kind of out there, though. Yeah,
it doesn't matter as long as he goes from directly where he's standing towards the back.
So we usually get to a baseball rule and to the details of a baseball rule every episode. This week we're going over the baseline rule. Google tells me, leagueathletics.com tells me, this is perhaps the most misunderstood rule in baseball. Simply put, a runner cannot run more than 3 feet away from his or her baseline to avoid being tagged.
So maybe it's a foot and a half on either.
Unless they are avoiding interference with the fielder fielding a batted ball.
I think the heart of the rule is like when you round a base, you're going to swing wide. Like you're not going to just like I said, you're not going to go to first and then just turn left and go to second. You're not just going to go second and turn left and go to third. There's that roundingness of it.
Yeah, and I get that, but it's but then when with the Bellinger play, when you have a situation where the guy moves to the right or left.
Now there are hard and fast rules, like with the runner's lane going down first being whether you're in fair or foul territory. those kinds of things of being hit. So, I mean, there's more to it than just that. But
yeah, well, as a high school baseball coach of 8 years now, I still have no idea what the base path rule is, or what a balk is, for that matter. They're way more vague than you would think in the official rule book.
Well, I mean, just like a pass interference call in football, or certain fouls in basketball, they are up to interpretation.
Yeah, more so than you might think.
Which again, AI is not going to fix.
Good.
So there's my anti-AI.
Hey, I'm
rant.
not always going to champion AI over here. Next up, I found this a little interesting. What are the top 5 states with the most Major League Baseball players?
I know the top 3. Top 3 are going to be California, Texas, and Florida.
Didn't have them in the right order.
It wasn't in order. I'm just saying those are in the top 5.
Which those are the top 3 states for basically every major sport in America. Maybe the more interesting stat is the global numbers. Which countries have the most players, etc. Dominican Republic leads for international countries, I suppose.
Yeah.
171, Venezuela 106. Then we go all the way down to Cuba 33, Puerto Rico 28.
Puerto Rico's only at 28.
Yeah.
I would have thought that would have been higher, but
in terms of American states, at number 5, New York State. Shocking. I saw the NBA list. Also, New York was a top 5 state.
Right. You got New York, New Jersey, Philly.
There's some high schools that have some good talent.
You're going to get a lot of people moving there and wanting to expand there.
So you said we have Texas 3, Florida 2, California 1. New York has 33. Any guesses as to what the 4th state is? Maybe think a little long and hard. I'll give you a clue. It's from the South.
Oh, I would say Georgia.
Correct. Georgia with 41. Texas at 3 with 70 MLB players. Florida with 80. And then we get to California with 168, doubling the next state.
The weather's good. You can play a lot. Not only that, they're high populations. Not a lot of big metropolitan areas.
Well, I've been looking at this with like basketball and football as well, or even like quarterbacks, stuff like that. Like, where are people from? Because California usually clears at number 1 across the board.
California has what, like 20?
Has more people.
But also has like what, 20 pro sports?
Right. I'm just, as a Californian, I like to say that we dominate pro sports. Do you want to hear the Mexican prison story by John Kruk, or should we save that one? We can save some of these because that's an evergreen.
I think that's if you want to join our Patreon, we'll save that on our Patreon page.
In Oakland A's news, Mason Miller, their closer, now known as the Reaper. So we have a nickname, a decent nickname. Right. They're calling him the Reaper over there. He remains to be one of the hottest trade items.
Oh, man. They're going to be throwing hookers and blow through his window trying to go to their school.
The Reaper, Mason Miller, we're all looking for him.
I want to hear what his entrance music is, because he can't do Enter Sandman. That's Mariano's.
Sure. I have a couple blind links here, meaning that I took down a note as to what the link is, and I still am not quite sure what is going to pop up. Okay. Our first blind link, it just says Bonds Hall of Fame. So what do we got going here?
Should be a blank screen.
Barry, would you open that up and... What's that say there, Barry?
Pirates Hall of Fame have been selected to include in the Pittsburgh Hall of Fame. That is awesome.
Mr. Nutty.
All right, so Barry Bonds actually inducted to the Pirates Hall of Fame this week.
So
that's something.
It's him and like 6 other dudes, huh?
That's cool. Is that the first, what do you call it? Domino that falls? No. It doesn't hurt.
It's a concession. He won't go in while he's alive.
All right. Next.
Same with Pete. Pete will be an inductee the day after he dies.
Well, and for whatever reason, this has now come up because of the Negro League integration. It's like, well, now if Negro League players are going to be involved here, let's get all the steroid guys. Not that there's a correlation there, but it's like, well, let's just get everybody involved in the combo here.
I honestly, I don't think the steroid guys have paid their penance yet.
Interesting.
No, there should be a consequence to that, dude. Like,
there has been.
It's so big and so encompassing that you guys will be remembered. We'll talk about you, but it'll be after you're dead.
Okay. Well, you have a very clear point of view.
Pete Rose will be inducted into Cooperstown after he passes.
Interesting. Interesting. You know, we haven't talked about our favorite teams much in the last couple of pods, which I like, actually. We're becoming more universal here. And we can talk about them when we cover the divisions. I brought that up because my next link is that John Means is back on the IR. He was on the IR for 2 years, one of our great pitchers, so that is not good. I think you specifically said this is what you need to look out for. How quickly is he going to go back on the IL? The good news is that Bradish is back, and he threw 7 no-hit innings the other day. He looks to be back in his ace form. So, to me, I think we have 2 solid aces in Burns and Bradish. And then Rodriguez didn't have the best outing last week, but also a very solid young guy. So, it's tough to lose Means, but at the same time, I don't expect him to last, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Who's still anybody hurt? Any arms?
Max Muncy is still on the IL. Jason Hayward came back, which was good because James Outman wasn't playing very well, so they put him back down AAA.
Oh wow!
Brought back Hayward. Right now, Chris Taylor is cover for Muncy at third base, and it's working out. You know, you always want your best bats in there. And I think Max gives us the best opportunity to win. Walker Buehler's finally, I think, kind of gotten back into his.
Yeah, we'll wait till he comes back before you.
No, he's back. He's been back, but he's been up and down. He's been up and down in his last 4 starts coming back because he hasn't pitched in like a year and a half.
All right, I found this interesting. I do like to keep my eye on the youth game across the nation. I saw a list of top fastball velos for 14U players.
For you that speak English at home, a velo means velocity.
Yes. The hardest thrower in 14U, which means 14 and under. Correct?
Yeah. That means junior high kids.
Dexter McLeon, 94 miles an hour. Holy hell. Next up is Chase Cotton throwing 90. Brody Constantine, Aiden Kearney, and Brennan New throwing 88. Let's throw Jalen Aguilar and Carter Schaus in there throwing 88 as well. Yeah, well, those are the hardest throwing 14-year-olds in the country.
As I love hearing what the new population of 14-year-olds is named, these kids are going to hurt themselves.
I mean, 94 is
94.
insane.
I mean, unless this kid is 6'6".
He might be.
Yeah. But
there's a picture of him here. He looks he looks
he's 5'8".
Grown.
He's 5'8". He's 14.
Blind item. Whatever happened to Yasiel Puig? This guy sticks around in my brain. I want to talk about this guy every week.
Well, all right. This hits close home to me.
Okay.
The wild horse is my spirit animal.
Really?
I love the way he played the game. His story is incredible. The whole leaving Cuba thing, just to get to America so that he could play Major League Baseball, because this was before the shit was cool with Cuba.
Sounds like another movie that we need.
Oh, probably, yeah. He had to get smuggled by like coyotes into Mexico, and then these people were like after him. Like he had to get the FBI involved because they were trying to threaten him. He didn't see his mom for like 6 years, but when he got called up to the Dodgers, he was fucking electric.
Dude, he was the closest thing to Manny Ramirez to me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, throwing dudes
even
out.
Better, honestly.
Throwing dudes out at third base from the right field corner.
That's what I'm saying. This guy's highlights still pop up in my feed to this day.
Right. And unfortunately, I think he's not. This comes back to that whole Lopez thing, but he's not a great teammate.
I'm sure he was like Manny. Remember Manny being Manny was a thing?
Manny.
Same thing.
I know, but he got into it with a lot of the people with the Dodgers. He had a lot of off-field incidents. He got robbed a couple of times, I think more relates back to him being smuggled over from Cuba. But
LA may be a tough place for him to be.
Yeah, he had some DV stuff to where he ended up in Cleveland.
Those throws from right field are fucking epic.
Oh, dude, yeah. Missiles. And so I think unfortunately he just kind of wore out his welcome in Major League Baseball.
All right, I mentioned Kyle Bradish throwing 7 no-hit innings. It does seem like we're starting to celebrate 7 innings thrown. Like 7 innings is the new complete game because of pitch counts, which is kind of sad to me.
I don't know. I think that's a bit of a reach. Is that the 7th inning is the new complete game?
Feels like it to me, man.
I think later in the season, A lot more of these pitchers are allowed to go a lot longer.
Okay.
It's building
I have a
endurance.
little hope. Okay, good.
So like I think that's a thing with the whole metrics and all these counting and things they're doing is they're building towards something. They would love for you to pitch 9 innings, but they're not going to let you do it in May.
It just, when you're being taken out because you have 105 pitches from a no-hitter, it's tough to swallow, man.
Well, you know what?
I hate it. 21st Century Perfect Games. We're going to go back to May 18th, 2004.
Okay.
This guy was an absolute stallion, though. He could go a complete game in any time of the season. Randy Johnson.
Oh.
Versus the Atlanta Braves.
Wow, that was towards the end of his career.
2004. Threw a perfect game. Yeah, some of these I totally forgot about. Next up, we have Mark Burley?
Burley.
Mark Burley.
Mike Burley for the Chicago White Sox.
Yes.
Yeah, Mike Burley. Mark Burley. Yeah, dude, that guy was a legend for like 2 years and then just kind of went away.
July 23rd, 2009 versus the Rays. Mark Burley. I knew it was Burley. I was just messing with you. Definitely knew that.
Nice save.
Again, we are...
English major, right? English?
We are throwing a commencement for perfect games.
How do you get a D in English, Bobby?
Because they don't exist. The perfect game is dead, as is the no-hitter. Another one versus Tampa Bay, May 9th, early May again, 2010. Our hometown Sacramento A's. Dallas Braden threw a perfect game in 2010.
Dude, I watched a documentary on him.
What?
Yeah.
A documentary? Why was there a documentary on it?
Dude, his path to the majors, and for him to because he also threw that on Mother's Day.
May 9th, 2010? Okay.
Yeah, May 9th, 2010 was Mother's Day. He had lost his mother.
Yeah, I remember that. That doesn't seem that long ago.
That was a big deal. Yeah, no, he had a very short major league career. He's a great personality, but how he was able to even get to the majors is phenomenal.
Cool.
I highly recommend anyone to go out and look up the Dallas Braden story. It's on I think it's on YouTube.
We're giving a lot of film recommendations today or ideas.
Hey, that's what I do.
I like it. I said we. Okay.
Oh, we.
20 days later
the royal we.
In the year 2010, the Royals are not a part of this one. Roy Halladay versus the Florida Marlins, May 29th, 2010.
Roy.
Oh, he passed away. Was it a boating thing?
No, he crashed that plane, remember?
Oh, my God. That's fucking tragic.
Remember? He crashed that plane in Texas.
How long ago was that?
Right after that.
What?
Yeah, it was like 12 years ago. It was like 10, 12 years ago. It was like 2012.
Damn, I forgot.
It was right after he retired.
That's insane.
Roy Halladay was a Philly. He was a Philly for a long time.
Yeah,
and then he got traded to somebody. I want to say Texas or maybe even the Dodgers. I don't remember, but
yeah,
he pitched phenomenally.
I forgot about that.
And then he crashed his own little plane.
Moving on, my birthday, the day I turned 32 years old, April 21st, 2012, for the Chicago White Sox. Philip Humber versus the Seattle Mariners. Perfect game.
Who?
Philip Humber threw a perfect game.
Yeah. No one's ever heard from him since.
Again, early season, April 21st. Like that theory.
Flash in the pan.
That's
unscouted. That's unscouted rookie.
The final out was on a drop third strike, and they happened to throw him out at first. That's dramatic. Same year, a couple months later. For the San Francisco Giants versus the Astros, June 13th, 2012. Can you guess? 2012, perfect game. San Francisco Giants. He's a big boy.
Schmidt.
Dominant World Series winner multiple times.
I won't say his name.
Matt Cain.
Oh, Matt.
Yeah. Who'd you think I was talking about?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Bumgarner.
Bumgarner, no.
I don't like talking about
Matt Cain, great pitcher. Cain was thrown the same time as other boy, the Cy Young guy, right?
Whoa.
The Giants Cy Young pitcher with the long hair.
Lincecum?
Yeah. Lincecum and Cain were on the same team, weren't they?
Yeah, with Bumgarner.
That was wow.
That was the 2012, 2014, 2016. 2010, 2012, 2014.
That team deserved to win some World Series, so that's why they won them. Love it. Love to talk World Series.
A couple of them did. One was saved by one of the most spectacular postseason performances of all time. The other one, they backdoored it.
Fast forward a couple months, still in 2012, big year for perfect games. Versus the Tampa Bay Rays again. Felix Hernandez.
Oh, King
He was
Felix.
a Mariner, right? Yes.
Yeah, King Felix. Yeah,
Perfect game for King Felix. He was a badass.
he was.
Another big guy.
Unfortunately, he was on a lot of shitty Mariners teams. So
Apparently, there was not a perfect game again until 2023.
Clayton Kershaw missed on one because the shortstop threw one in the fucking stands.
Well, and then there's the Tigers pitcher.
And then that one, which got ruined by umpire West.
All right, this one is against the Oakland Athletics. It happened last year, June 28th, my dad's birthday. Do you have any idea who this Yankees pitcher was who threw a perfect game last season against the A's?
Escobar?
Domingo Germain or German.
Oh, yeah. Herman.
Herman, he threw a perfect game last season, and that, I believe, wraps up all of our perfect games in the 21st century. Not that many. Who has the most career ejections out of all active players? Who's your guess?
Active players.
I'll give you a clue. You mention him every podcast.
Oh, Bryce Harper? Yeah, that makes sense.
Harper with 21 career ejections. The next guy,
Yeah, he's an asshole.
Tim Anderson with 9. He has more than double the next guy.
Right.
Machado with
and Tim
8.
Anderson's an asshole, too, so.
I was just hearing about how Anderson's completely fallen off lately. You ready for some awesome, quirky stats that are kind of unbelievable? You mentioned Madison Bumgarner.
Hit me, baby.
You mentioned Madison Bumgarner.
Okay.
Madison Bumgarner has more Grand Slams than Prince Fielder. Prince Fielder, I think I saw his 2. Fielder must only have 1 or something. I think Bumgarner has 2. Prince Fielder has more inside the park home runs than Ricky Henderson. Which got me thinking, isn't that insane? Ricky Henderson didn't really do inside the park home runs.
No, that wasn't his deal. He usually hit him out over the fence.
I want to say that, maybe Milwaukee has
I want to see with yakety sack split over the top of it. Of Prince Fielder smacking some ball into the corner and somebody like tripping over their shoelace. And
God knows what happened. But I think the surprise in both these situations is that Prince never hit grand slams and Ricky never hit inside the park home runs. I don't know how Ricky didn't hit inside the park home runs all the time. That's very strange.
Because usually poked him out because Ricky hit for fucking power. And Ricky Henderson will tell you that Ricky Henderson hits for power.
Yeah.
Because Ricky talks in the third person.
I saw an inside the park home run in Oakland last season, Jorge Mateo.
Oh, okay.
It's beautiful.
Do you know that Ricky framed his first paycheck from the A's? And never cashed it. They had to call the accounting department had to call him and be like, "That's a live check. That's money. We'll print you up a second one for a copy for you to share for posterity, but that's actual money and it's on our books. You got to go clear that check."
We mentioned Babe Ruth at the start of the pod. Ricky Henderson has fewer steals of home than Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth stole home more than Ricky Henderson did. That just seems like an era thing.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe they had these wind-ups like Nestor.
It may be. I mean, maybe Babe Ruth had better wheels than we give him credit for.
Piano legs.
And then, sticking with Babe Ruth had as many shutouts in his career as Pedro Martinez. That's quite the stat.
Shade on Pedro Martinez. Let's finish with that.
Some important stats and stories from the first third of this Major League Baseball season. Offense is down. Yankees are the best team in baseball, arguable. Judge with a 1574 OPS since May 4th with 11 homers. So, yeah, like you said earlier, Judge is on
he's
an otherworldly tear.
Baseball.
The only upside of that is that can't last too long.
So hopefully that dies out by August, and then he goes ice cold for September.
The Orioles' hope is that they are just more consistent than the Yankees throughout the season. The Yankees maybe have some ebbs and flows. The Orioles also, I think we mentioned this on an earlier episode, are great within their division, and they have now a stretch run against AL East teams. So they're going to go ahead with the Yankees shortly. They just played well against the Red Sox. So Orioles, if they can kind of get out of the stretch in first place against this incredible team, then that's a great sign for Baltimore. Phillies have the best record in the National League and the best rotation. Ranger Suarez, Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, Christopher Sanchez. New superstars, Bobby Witt leading the Royals to what looks like a playoff run. Has a 3.6 F WAR, which maybe we'll go into that stat.
We talked about it last week.
Yeah, I still have no idea. Kyle Tucker with 18 home runs on the Astros has not helped them in the win column, but phenomenal player.
That's right. When they trade him and Bregman.
Woo! And then Gunnar, 17 home runs, although he hit a grand slam yesterday. I think he has 18 now.
Gunner's mashing right now.
Incredible defense. His average, though, is only around 260, so not incredible. But
when he hits the ball, he hits it hard.
Yeah.
And he's getting a lot of bases.
we have a left-handed pitching revolution. Shotei Benaga, 0.84 ERA, lowest by nearly a full run.
That was by far Chicago's best pickup.
Do you know who Tarek Skubal is?
Yeah, he pitches for Detroit.
That's right. 31% strikeout percentage.
Yeah.
2.25 ERA.
Paul Skeens who?
Skubal. We love Skubal. Cole Reagans. 96 mile-an-hour fastball. True 5-pitch mix. Demonic slider. Our big bounce backs this season, we mentioned Chris Sale earlier in the episode. Tanner Houck, a 1.9 ERA. Giancarlo Stanton is back. A 19.7 BRL percentage. Not to be confused with BBL percentage. Although he's probably rocking a 19.7 there. Jack Flaherty is back. 30% strike to walk percentage, first in Major League Baseball. And Jake Cronenworth on pace for 105 RBIs. These are your comeback.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
dudes.
You're on the Padres.
Young studs. We got De La Cruz. We know him. Jared Jones, pitcher. Paul Skeens, of course. Garrett Crochet, pitcher. CJ Abrams, Mackenzie Gore, and Reese Olson.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to get familiar with these guys.
that's right.
Hot starts, Alex Bohm for the Phillies. Love him. Seth Lugo, 1.74 ERA. Jurickson Profar, a 418 on-base percentage. Wow. And we have Joe Ryan, Jaron Duran, and Kyle Bradish rocking that 1.75 ERA. Let's pray to God he stays healthy. Struggling arms, Blake Snell and your Giants.
I think worst signing of the spring. The fact that he held out, and has done jack and shit, is making it his former Cy Young winner look foolish.
And then our struggling bats are Corbin Carroll, Paul Goldschmidt, George Springer, Randy Rosarina, and Alex Bregman. Third of the way through the season, folks.
I'm excited. I think they taped over the moon landing. Like, I don't think any actual, the original copy doesn't exist because somebody accidentally taped over it.
Really?
I think so. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But there's some that's very specifically cool and vital thing that should have been preserved forever. And
Is it a Bruder film?
And halfway through it, an episode of Moonlighting starts up.
That's awfully convenient since it was staged.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this again.
I'm just saying, it's about 50-50. 9/11 in the moon landing, I'm 50-50 on
Wow,
it.
you're 50-50, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
100%. I'm 100%
You're
50-50.
You're 100% 50-50, yeah. Depending how you edit that down.
Look, Aaron Rodgers and I agree.
Aaron and Rodgers.
Aaron and Rodgers agree on this with me.
Ron Rodgers.
I have a theory that A-Rod has secretly been reading my posts over the years. Under a burner
really?
account.
He's single white femaling you? Or
Just
is it talented Mr. Ripley?
He just, neither exactly. Although there could be a whole new script built out of this where the star stalks the nobody.
I mean, it's kind of the Prince and the Pauper too.
What's remind me of that
Prince
story?
and the Pauper. The prince meets this poor kid, and it turns out they look identical, but they both hate their lives. The prince hates being paraded around, having to dress up and take a bath and stuff like that, and so they swap.
That's more like a.
And then they see how good the other one is.
That's a Trading Places thing.
Trading Places was but they chose it.
There's
Trading Places was forced.
There's a bunch of there were a bunch of films that did that, but
Yeah,
This is unique. This is.
I mean, it's very Freaky Friday too. I mean, hell, if we're just if we're just going to throw shit at the wall, fuck it.
Jason Bateman and Ryan Reynolds did one. There's a bunch that have been done.
Oh yeah.
But this is specifically the star stalks the. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a nobody, but whatever you want to call me.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
And then he gets his.
I will go throwing. I don't want throwing stones at glass houses. You know what I'm saying?
He learns his ways from the unknown one.